Hi, this is Jeff Gerlach with Challenger Auto once again, and want to take a moment to speak about the check engine light. So, I know we all get nervous when the check engine light comes on, and what I want to explain here and talk about is how we go about diagnosing the check engine light. And I do have a big difference of opinion in what happens with my industry and the check engine light. I'm going to explain why. So, we're driving down the road and our check engine light turns on. And for this example, let's just say that the engine seems to be running normal, but our check engine light turns on. We do not know why, and we need to find out why. And yes, I 100% recommend when that light turns on that we do not drive the vehicle for weeks or months with the light on, because we don't know why it's on. And a check engine light can turn on for a number of reasons. And when I say number of reasons, I mean a multitude of reasons. And the reason I bring this up is even in some of our owner's manuals, it says, oh, this means there's a problem within the emissions system. Well, we could argue that, sure, everything related to our vehicle is essentially part of the emissions system, sure. But there is a lot happening in vehicles nowadays. We have multiple computers in vehicles. All engines run on multiple sensors. The whole fuel system operates via sensors and computers. We have steering systems that now operate that way. Actually, all of our HVAC systems, our windows, our radios, everything is working via computer nowadays. So it's kind of misleading when we hear, oh, it's just an emissions issue. We've also all heard, oh, it's just the gas cap. Now, not saying that can't be the case, but the only way we know is by legitimately diagnosing. And I'm going to explain that there is a difference between plugging in and getting that quick, free, yep, the check engine light's on, there's a PO 171, and it could be this, this, or this, which is pretty common to hear. I know that when we stop by a parts store or something along those lines, we're told a multitude of things it could be. And what happens is, at that moment in time, we are guessing. If we just plug in and go, there's a code for this, it says it's an oxygen sensor, let's put an oxygen sensor in it, that may or may not fix the problem, and that is what I consider the coin toss method. So how do we do it at Challenger Auto and Truck Service? We are going to legitimately diagnose, and I'm going to explain using the oxygen sensor as an example. Let's say our check engine light is on and there is a code stored for a heated oxygen sensor, which most oxygen sensors are heated. That will not create a drivability problem, meaning your engine won't start running rough or anything along those lines, meaning a modern engine. But it does let us know that there is a problem within the heater circuit for the oxygen sensor. Now, if we just plug in and see that's the code and we put the oxygen sensor in, we are 50-50 now. We could reset the check engine light, give the car back to the client, and in a day or two the light's back on with the same code. Well, that's because we didn't actually diagnose the problem. So in order for that heated oxygen sensor to work properly, where it will not turn on the check engine light, a couple things need to happen. And the things that need to happen are what need to be checked for proper operation to diagnose to see what is happening. So when a client's vehicle comes in with that code set or any other code set, but we're using that as the example, we are going to do what's called an ohms test on that heater circuit within that oxygen sensor. Then we are going to check for proper power, meaning in order for that heater to work, it needs to have the proper voltage. And then we need to have proper information going back to the computer and a proper ground. These are all items that should be checked to ensure the problem is being diagnosed correctly and accurately. So what happens is if it's not and we do the pull the code method, then we risk our clients having to spend more money. Because if we put that sensor in and it doesn't fix the problem, then maybe the vehicle didn't need the sensor, and that was money that didn't need to be spent. Maybe all we had was a wiring issue. Maybe we had a bigger issue that we didn't know because it wasn't properly diagnosed. So when I speak of diagnosing, that is what I mean by that. And the easiest way to think about it is when we go to a doctor. You will hear me talk about medical a lot when it comes to explaining vehicles. And the reason is there's a lot of comparisons here. When we go to the doctor and let's say we have a broken bone, well, doctors fix broken bones all the time. So you would assume they know what they're doing, but they always do an X-ray, sometimes an MRI. They need a complete, clear picture to know exactly what it is they need to do to properly fix that broken bone. Same with our heart, same with other parts involving our body. They need to do diagnostic work to have a clear, accurate picture of what it is they need to do. The funny thing is in medicine, we call that practicing. In our field, we do not practice. We actually have to be correct. We have to diagnose properly, give our clients accurate answers, fix the problem, and then retest. And I bring up retest because I do not believe that diagnostic work ends just once the problem is diagnosed and the new part is put on. The end of that diagnostic work is once that new part is put on, the computer needs to be reset and then retested to ensure the problem is corrected. Now this can be a little tricky, meaning sometimes it could take 4 or 5 test drives. Now that gets a little unrealistic, meaning we can't keep a client's vehicle for 3 days so we can test drive it 4 or 5 times. But we typically want to do a minimum of 2 key cycles after a repair so we can ensure that the problem is corrected. Now there are problems on vehicles that once they're corrected, they do need to be test driven over multiple days. Our computers also have monitors that need to run. But in closing here, the most important part of a check engine light is that it's diagnosed properly. And that's the way that we do that at Challenger Auto and Truck Service. And that's the way that we do that with check engine lights, ABS lights, traction control lights, airbag lights, all systems that are computer controlled and computer monitored. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully we'll talk to you soon. Take care.